Sabah everybody and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to do a hands-on and initial impressions of the brand new Xiaomi Redmi Note 9T. This guy was launched this morning alongside with the Redmi 9T to the global market, featuring the Dimensity 800U, a large display, a large battery, a high megapixel camera on the back, as well as an IR blaster, a headphone jack, stereo speakers, a lot more features built into a very budget-friendly price. Of course, if you're able to catch in the early bird price, it's even cheaper. This is the Redmi Note 9T. Let's check it out. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos on the channel. Now, when it comes to the unboxing experience, it's pretty simple. The box includes the charger. It's a 22.5 watt charger, and of course a USB Type A, USB Type C cable, and of course a clear case to be able to enjoy your device and protect it. And there we have it, the brand new Redmi Note 9T. There's going to be two different color variants available. So obviously there's this gray color and the purple one available on the right. Both will be featuring the Dimensity 800U as the processor, and of course MIUI 12 to boot, since this is a Xiaomi device after all. And the display that we have here is a full HD 6.53-inch display with a punch hole camera with a 13 megapixel sensor on the front. On the back, we have a triple camera setup. A 48 megapixel is going to be the primary shooter, and two 2 megapixel cameras. One is a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and the last one is a macro lens for close-up photography, and of course the dual tone LED flash. A 5000 milliampere battery built in here. This is not a glass back, it's a Gorilla Glass 5 on the front, but on the back it's actually plastic. But it feels like it actually can handle repelling fingerprints as much as possible, although you can kind of see some of the smudges on the back. So it's great that we have a case that's included in the box. Now on the right side, we have the integrated power button and fingerprint sensor at the same time, quite fast and very responsive, and of course turns on and turns off the display, a volume rocker. On the left side, we have a dual SIM card supporting tray with a micro SD card to expand storage, with 5G obviously supported here, as this is the Redmi Note 9T 5G. Now, when it comes to the storage and configuration that we have here, there's two models. There's the 464 and then there's the 4128. The model that I have here is the 4128. The difference between the two mostly obviously is the price, $229 for the 464, $269 for the 4128. If you're able to get into the early bird pricing, it's going to be $199 for the 464 and $249 for the 4128. The other big difference between the two is that UFS 2.1 is supported on the lower end model, and the higher end model is at UFS 2.2, so slightly faster internal storage. Now, although the charger that comes in the box is a 22.5 watt charger, this actually is charging at 18 watts. So the maximum wattage charge with the USB-C connector on the bottom, it's going to be 18 watts. We have a headphone jack as well as one of the microphones, a bottom firing speaker that's married to the earpiece at the top to give a stereo experience, an IR blaster, and one of the other microphones. The overall experience here is very, very familiar if you've ever used MIUI 12. So let's go ahead and go into the About section. And as you can see here, MIUI 12.0.1, 128 out of the box. It's roughly about 30 gigs or so used. I did install a couple of applications as well as a couple of games, and we'll check them out in a second. The Redmi Note 9T, this is the global edition. Again, security patch update as of November 1st, 2020. And of course, this comes along with all of the customizations that we get with MIUI 12, one of which is the ability of actually putting in lock screen wallpapers like this with video to enable us to actually get the experience the way we want it. We can customize home screen, wallpapers, theme store, of course, privacy, battery performance, with the new option to go with the Ultra Battery Saver. Notification panel is pretty much standard the way we've seen it before. We see all the different options, location, auto brightness, a QR scanner. We also have the window pop-up, the floating window, which is a very nice addition, which is very nicely added to basically allow us to have multitasking in a very nice way. So you can actually have the window running here. You can kind of just interact with the UI, and if you click on it, it opens up into an interactable, well, you can interact with it at this point. And of course, you can just bring it down all the way to open it up and use it normally. The rest of the customizations that we have here obviously is dark mode is present in there, digital well-being, logging into your Me account, Google account, and of course, since this is actually a global edition, it does come preloaded with the Google Play Store, as well as some other applications, and of course, some games that were installed directly from Xiaomi. I did run a couple of speed tests on this here in my area, and I was able to get at the most about 40 down, 37.5 down, and about 3 up. But I would say, depending on where you are, you should be able to get a better connection. And this is running on T-Mobile here in the US. And you can definitely see right there, we have 5G connectivity right there on the top. And as you can see, we have Google Play services preloaded. We have an FM tuner that's built in here that will require us to use the headphone jack, so you need to put in a headset in there. And of course, we also have the ability of configuring the remote here. So the Mi remote is included with the IR blaster. I have it configured to my Samsung TV here in the office, and it works great. Now, I'm pretty sure you guys want to see some of the performances and the things that we can do with the camera. Again, a 48 megapixel primary shooter on the back and a 13 megapixel on the front. We have AI photography as well as HDR photography and night photography. If you go under the more section, you have night mode, a full 48 megapixel sensor, so you can use the full power of the sensor, short video, panorama, document, vlog, slow motion, time lapse, and so on. Portrait mode, of course, photo. And as I'm showing you guys with all these images that I'm taking, I took those. Unfortunately, it was slightly of an overcast day for where I am, but overall the performance is pretty well. Now, switching over to what we get with the video, the cameras again that we have here, the 48 and the 13, provide us with a slightly different experience. On the 48 megapixel sensor, we can definitely go all the way to 4K 30 frames per second. And on the 13, we pretty much get the standard, what I would say is the 1080p 30 experience that we've seen in the past. Hopefully, we'll be able to see a little bit more better performance in the future, but let me go ahead and give you guys a quick sample on the front-facing and the back-facing camera now. Okay, we're going to start off with the front-facing camera here. This is capable of shooting 1080p 30 frames per second as well as 720p. So no 4K on the front-facing camera, but again, should be a pretty good example of what the front-facing camera exposure and of course audio and overall experience is on the brand new device here. Let's go ahead and switch over to the back-facing sensor where we can go all the way up to 4K. Primary sensor in the back is a 48 megapixel sensor capable of shooting 4K 30 frames per second, and this should be a pretty good example again of audio and video from the main sensor in the back at 4K 30 frames per second. Switching it over to a little bit more about the special features that come in here. So we have Game Turbo that's built in. That's definitely one of the better features here to be able to get more of a dedicated gaming experience. And we're going to do some demonstration of Call of Duty Mobile as well as Pubg Mobile. And of course we have Video Toolbox, floating window as I showed you with the Google Play Store, and of course light mode if you'd like to get a more, I would say, simplified UI element, basically as opposed to having the standard MIUI launcher here. The MIUI launcher works really good, even though we only have 4 gigs of RAM, and of course search function at the bottom is always helpful, but let's not waste any time. Let's go ahead and jump in to a quick sample on PUBG as well as Call of Duty Mobile to show you guys how does gaming running on the 800U.
Target's inside. Target down. Drone on standby. Enemy down. Further down. Changing mag. Down. Need backup. Enemy down.
Now when it comes to audio performance, of course, since we have stereo speakers, let's go ahead and play Alex Scrindo Jumbo by NCS Release to see how the speakers perform at 100%.
Jack it up.
So my impressions of the Redmi Note 9T, the model that I have again here is the 269 model, which is going to be on sale with an early bird price. I'll give you guys links to those in the description below. The 800U is a quite capable processor. We have 4K 30 on the back, 1080p 30 on the front, stereo speakers, large battery. We have an FM tuner, a headphone jack. Of course, we also have a large display that is actually very nice to be able to enjoy not only consuming content, but also gaming on this. And I would say light gaming. I'm not going to say this is going to support obviously all of the highest settings on most games. But again, for about 270 euros at full retail, and of course, if you're able to pick it up on the early bird, you're definitely going to be getting a really good deal, especially if you go with the 4128, as that one actually also features a slightly faster internal storage with the UFS 2.2. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of the brand new Redmi Note 9T? Is this something that you guys are considering? And of course, what your thoughts are obviously about the Redmi 9T, which is also launched at the same time. This is the global Redmi Note 9T. Thank you very much to Xiaomi for allowing me to check out this device. And again, like and subscribe, share this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.